Hey there, everybody. I've got a new puzzle here. It's called Federation Starship versus Romulan Bird of Prey. It's by Tenaliraman. Tenaliraman. Tenal, Tenaliraman. Something like that. Anyway, it's Sudoku plus killer cages, which are quite familiar, plus palindrome lines. So all of the lines are in the green shaded area. Palindromes, now to clarify, this line here I'm tracing with my mouse is one palindrome line. This is another. Palindromes of length 2, of which there are many, are interesting in that they are just a pair of the same digit, right? If your palindrome is length 2, then both ends are the same, so it's just the same digit twice. One more restriction is that these little circles here are odd digits. So let's take a look here. I've entered all of these things into my solver. I'm going to just shade these regions yellow so I can see them a bit better. Sorry for breaking the pretty picture to the author, but let's get started solving. Now we're going to do a lot of coloring in this puzzle. I just updated the colors my solver uses to make them a little bit more distinct, but it's still going to get a bit complicated. The first thing we're going to do is look at colors and color some stuff mostly in this box using these palindromes. So the first thing we can think about is I could color an entire palindrome. For example, we know these are the same, we know these are the same, we know these are the same, and so on. So let's start with the very end. I'm going to say that's pink and that's pink. Now let's think about where, whatever number pink is, where it can exist in this box. Now it can't be here and it can't be here because these two pinks conceal those cells. Now, given that a pink can see this and this, and this, these translate to these two because of these lines here. So the fact that this pink is here means these can't be pink, but also these can't be pink. And similar, this means this. So these can't be pink, and these can't be pink. So pink has to sit here, right in the middle. Now let's look at the next thing on the palindrome. If this is light blue, then this is light blue. And let's think about what these can see. They can see these. Now, given that this light blue can see that cell, this can't be light blue. Given that this light blue can see that cell, this can't be light blue. Light blue can obviously see pink, so this is not light blue. So our other light blue must be here. And also because of this little palindrome line, it must be here. And the third from the end of this palindrome is orange. Now in this cell, this can't be orange, that can't be orange because of these two. The light blue obviously can't be orange. Now orange can see this cell, which translates to that, and this orange can see this cell, which translates to that. So the last place orange can be is down here. Now the next bit's a bit tricky. Let's consider this last palindrome guy and what he does. So if this is red and then this is red, where can red be in this box? Can't be here, can't be here. It certainly can't be orange or pink, so it's got to be one of these two. All right? I'm going to uncolor those. Now let's think differently about this cell, just this one. Now, where is this red placed in this box? Now, it can't be these. It can see these two, so it can't be either of these two. It can see pink and orange, so it can't be either of these. So this red must be also one of these. So this guy must be one of these, and this guy must be one of these. So these two are the same as these two. Now that was entirely symmetrical. Let's do the same thing over here. Can't be these, can't be these, can't be these. So this guy also must be one of these two. So we have these two numbers, these two values, maybe we'll call them purple and red. Now we don't yet know that these are the same, but this purple occupies one of these spaces, and this red occupies the other. Now if I put a green here, this purple occupies one of these spaces, and this green occupies the other. So we now know that these are the same. These two values, one of them is whatever purple is, and the other is whatever these two are. So since we don't yet know where this is going in here. I'm not going to color it yet, but I'm going to put a red up here and here because we know that these two are the same. Now we can go even a little bit further. Since we know that these two are these two, let's think about where these two go. So these two digits sum to 10. For a start, well, they can't be 5 because you can't have 5 and 5. Similarly, you can't have 4 down here. But this pair can't exist. Neither of them can exist here because neither of them can exist in these two and they're copied down. Neither of them can be in the blue or the orange or the red or the pink. So blue, orange, one of these is red and pink. They also can't be here wherever this is. So since these two can't be in this red or this corner, this red corner is these two, it can't be in these two. So let me just say that again. In terms of where these two digits are placed in this box, they can't be in the pink, they can't be in the blue, they can't be in the orange because they share this. Now, they can't be in either of these two because they can't be either of these two and they're copied down through these palindrome lines. So they can't be these two. They also can't be this red or this corner. And we know this red in this corner is these two exactly. So they can't be in these two. Therefore, these two are the same digits as these two. So this sums to 10. And likewise, this sums to 10. Now, exactly the same logic, I won't follow again, takes this 8 and puts it here. So now we have this sum copied down to here and this sum copied over to here, which I think is pretty amazing. So similarly, since I took the 5 out of these, I'm going to take it out of these. And since I took the 4 out of these, I'm going to take the 4 out of these. So the next thing I'm going to do is just as tricky. Now, there is a trick that I learned after I solved this puzzle called Ard's Tetro trick that says that these 25 cells is the digits in these cells plus the digits 1 to 9, which is interesting and I think probably helps this puzzle, but I didn't know that and I didn't need it to solve this puzzle. What I'm going to think about is the sum of these boxes, boxes 2, 4, and 5. Now, each box sums to 45. So these three together sum to 135. Okay, so we know the sum of all this together is 135. Now, the sum of all these here are given by cages. So what's their total sum? It's going to be 18 plus 17 plus 21 plus 12, which is 68. Okay, so this is 68, and this whole thing is 135. So this here, this kind of L, backwards L here, is going to sum to 135 minus 68. Okay, 67. So this thing here is 67 exactly. Now, apart from that, we know that this column sums to 45 and this row sums to 45. So we know that this plus this would be 90, except we're double counting this. So this is actually 90 minus cyan. So this is 90 minus cyan. So this here is 90 minus cyan minus 67. So it's 90 minus 67, which is 23 minus cyan. Okay, so this stuff here is 23 minus cyan. We can take another 10 off. Now it's 13 minus cyan. Now it's 5 minus cyan. So these two together are 5 minus the value here. Another way of saying it is this plus this plus this is 5. We get to exactly 5 if we add these three cells. Now further, well, I mean, that's great because that's a tiny number. There's only going to be a few ways of doing this. These are the same. So 2 times this plus something is 5. Obviously, this can't be 3. If this was 3, it's 6 already. So these can only be 1, 2. Now if this is 1, this has to be 3 because we'll have 1, 1, 3 and we add to 5. If this is 2, this is 1 because we'll have 2, 2, 1. So this can now only be 1 and 3. Okay, so we can copy this 1 and 3 since it's cyan to here and here and here. So I can set these to 1 and 3. Now similarly, this pink can be copied here. This is 1 and 2. Now, we know since this plus this adds to 5, um, one of them's got to be a 1, right? It's either 2, 2, 1, or it's 1, 1, 3. So wherever we can, any group, any row, column, or box, we can get a pink and a cyan, we can eliminate one entirely. So we can eliminate one from this because of these two, this because of these two, all of this box, all of this box, and the rest of this box. Now also because of these two all the way here, and because of these two all the way here. So we can say none of these are the value 1. Now let's take a look at some of these sums here. For a start, since there can't be a 1 in this 10, and likewise these, they also can't be a 9. And since there can't be a 1 here, there can't be a 7. There already couldn't be an 8 or 9. So this 8 sum, and likewise these 8 sums, cannot be 7, 8, or 9. So the way we're summing to 8 is either 2, 6, or 3, 5. Now, that means this little guy has a 2 in it or a 3 in it, right? If there's no 2 and no 3, you know, there's just 5, 6, and that doesn't add to 8. So since there's definitely a 2 or a 3 in here, along with this 1, 3 and this 1, 2, between these 4 cells, 1 and 2 and 3 must be represented. These 4 cells will absolutely have a 1 and a 2 and a 3 in them. Now, why is that important? It means that these cannot have a 1 or a 2 and a 3 in them. So I can say not 1, 2, 3, and just because I'm being consistent, I'll copy the not 2, 3 to these oranges. But now look at this. This 10 sum can no longer be 7 or 8 because it can't have 2 or 3. So this 10 is made up of 4 and 6 exactly, which means this and this are all 4 and 6 exactly. And that gives, well, that's fantastic. And it also gives us this naked 4, 6. So because of this 4, 6 all the way up here can't be 4, 6. Because of these, all the way here can't be 4, 6. Because of these can't be 4, 6. Also in this box, also in this box, anywhere else. In this 4, 6 here means these can't be 4, 6. Also this 4, 6 pair eliminates it here, and oh, maybe that's it. Yeah, okay. So that's a lot of cells that cannot be 4 or 6. Now, since we can't have 4 or 6 in the 8 sum, we can't have 6 in the 8 sum, so now I can't have 2 in the 8 sum. So we can get rid of 2 from the 8 sum, all of them. So no 2 in these. And now they're all 3, 5. So okay, before we do the next thing, let's do these naked. 3, 5. Incredible. This 3, 5 gets rid of this 3. So this is a 1. But I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it carefully anyway. 3, 5 eliminates 3, 5 from there. We get it from here. We get it from the rest of this box, the rest of this box. This 3, 5 goes all the way up here. And this 3, 5 does this box. So all of these are not 3, 5. And now this guy must be a 1. So we can place a 1 here and all of these, and a 2 here and here and here. Isn't that beautiful? This was such a nice break in, all of this coloring and the way these all interact with each other. I think is fantastic. Oh yeah, I forgot to do the naked 3, 5 here. So these are not 3, 5. Here we go. Now we did do something here. We placed a 2 here and here. And what that did is in this 9 sum, we haven't considered its candidates yet. It never could be 9, but now it can't be 8 since it can't have a 1 in it. It can't be 7 since it can't have a 2 in it. So these 9 sums cannot have 7, 8, 9. And if you look in column 9, we have a 7, 8, 9, a 7, 8, 9. The only other place that could be 7, 8, or 9 is this. The same thing is going to be here because it's all symmetric. So we have a hidden 7, 8, 9 here and here. So even more 7, 8, 9s to work with. So here's a fun little thing. Let's look at this 13 sum. Yeah, that's really cool. Okay, so this is minimum 7. So these guys can't be 7 or above because then already in 2 cells we've got above 13. So these are not 7, 8, 9. Now look at this. These are all even. These are all odd, right? So the sum of these is an odd number. And that means that this, to get a total of 13, which is odd, must be even. This must be 8. And look, 7979, this must be 8. Isn't that lovely? Now let's do a little bit of coloring of 789s. We're not going to color everything, but we're going to color the ones we can. We know that this and this are the same. We know that this and this are the same. And we know that this is the third 789, so I'm going to give them a color and give them dark green. So the 789s are going to be these 3 colors. So now let's take a look at this guy here. Now, we have 1, 2, 3, 5 along here. Now, what does that mean? It means in this box, 1, 2, 3, and 5 must exist up here, all right? Because none of them can be here. So 1, 2, 3, 5 is 1, 2, 3, 5 is 4 of these 6 cells. So what's the maximum we can get out of all this? It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 5, 9, and 8, which is 28. So the biggest we can get here is 28. But we know the sum of all of this together is 12 plus 21, which is 33. So this can only be up to 28, and we have to get to 33, which means this needs to be at least 5. If this is 28 and this is 5, we get to 33. This can't be 2 or 4. So no 2 here, no 4 here. Now this interacts with the colors we just did. The 7s and 8s and 9s are these 3 colors, and this can't be any of them. This can see a green, it can see an orange, and it can see a red. So this cannot be 7, 8, 9. It must be a 6 exactly. Okay, awesome. So now this here adds to 33 minus 6, which is 27. But again, it must contain 1, 2, 3, 5. So 27 minus 1, 2, 3, 5 is 16. So the other 2 must be 16. And the only way to sum to 16 with 2 digits is 7 and 9. So these must be 1, 2, 3, 5, 7, 9. And these are now not 1, 2, 3, 5, 7, 9. So these are a 4, 6, 8 triple. A few things. 4, 6, 8. This triple can now be eliminated from these 2. These are not 4, 6, and 8. They are 7 and 9. Wonderful. So a few things. We can remove 7 and 9 from all of this. Not 7, 9. Here we have a pair here. So these are not 7 and 9. And that's not 7 and 9. That places an 8 here. So both of these greens are 8. Fantastic. Now this 8 down here is also green, of course. And I'll just color this here. Now this 7, 9 can't be green or orange, it must be red. Similarly, this one must be red. So we've got red, red, one of these is red, we don't care. Red, 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 red. Now the red in this box can't be here, can't be here. It can't be either of these because they just can't be 7, 8, or 9, so it must be here. So this red is going to go there. And look, by the way, the logic we kind of talked about before, where these 2 must be the same as these 2, has come true, which is nice. We have more naked 7, 9s, these 2, so we can eliminate 7, 9 from up here. And by the way, this and this have to be odd. So they have to be 1, 3, 5, 7, or 9. Now this can't be 3 or 5 from this, and it can't be 7 or 9 from this. So it must be 1. So even if, see, that's a nice thing. Even if we weren't, considering candidates in detail like we are, we could have seen 3, 5, 7, 9 gives us a 1 up here. That's pretty cool. Now up here, since this is a 7 or a 9, These guys can't be 7 or more. In fact, can they even be 6? If this is its lowest, which is 7, if this was a 6, we'd already be at 13. So this can't be 6 or above. This must be 4 exactly. And look, there's a hidden 4 here and a hidden 4 here. And holy moly, okay, this is now a 6. Oh no, so this doesn't get set these exactly yet, unfortunately. I don't believe. But 7, 9, and 4. So minimum sums, if this is 7 and then this is 4, that gets us to 11. The lowest this can be is 11, so the highest this can be is 2. So this is a 2 exactly. And so now these guys add to 6. This must be 7. Now all of the reds are now 7, which means all of the oranges are 9. All right, so this 4, removed 4 from this 9 cage. So this 9 cage also can't have a 5, meaning this is a 3 and 6. So there's no 3 here. We've got a 5 here, which means we've got a 3 here, which means we've got a 5 here, which means we've got a 3 here. That's quite nice. We've got set all those. Now look at this 12. 12 is even, but it must contain an odd. This must be odd from this circle. So that means the sum of these must be odd. So it must be an even and an odd. That's the only way we can do that. So these must be an even and an odd, but there's only one even possible in here. So one of these is a 2 necessarily. So that means we can remove 2 from all of this. This is not 2. Okay, now let's think about the other values of this. If this was 1, these would add to 11. Not possible. So it's not 1. If this was 9, these would have to add to 3. Not possible. So it's not 9. Oh, by the way, which means if we look, boop, 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 one of these is a 9, so none of these can be a 9. Also means we know that one of these is a 9, so that's probably helpful there. Okay, 3 and 5. If this was 3, then this would have to add to 9, which it could with 2 and 7. If this was a 5, this would have to add to 7, but it has to have a 2 in it. So it would have to be 525 or 525, which makes no sense. So this cannot be a 5, it must be a 3, which means this is a 2 and a 7, so this is not 5. That's pretty cool. All right, 2, 7. We can get rid of 2, 7 from all of this. This is not 2, 7. Now this must be a 5. Wonderful. Got 1 9s here. Does that do this? No. Oh, look, we've got a 3 over here. This thing's starting to fall together, which is quite nice. Now this 3 will have influenced this guy. Now 5. 8 plus 5 is 13 already. This can't be 5, it must be 1. And 8 and 1 is 9, so this must be 4. Now look, this is now set. That's 4 and that's 4. That's 6 and that's 6. Now look, one of these must be 6, so the other must be 3. So there's no 5 here, so this must be 5, which means that must be 5. So that must be 3. Gives us 7. Okay, we've got a 6 over here. This 4, 8's pretty good. If we look at this, if this was 9, that would have to be 4, which it can't be. So that means this must be 5. And then I'm just looking if that changes the other 5s, which means this guy must be 8. Okay, that places an 8 here, and a 4 here. That places a 9 over here. Now, the 2 in this box, 2 in this middle box must be one of these, so this can't be a 2. There must be a 2 in here. It's either 2, 8 or 2, 5. Now, these 3 together are going to add to 13 because of this 4 and 17. So this adds to 13. The sum here is either 10 or 7. So this is either 3 or 6. So it's not 5. Now this is a 3 and 6 as well. So that's naked, and we can naked pair. We can do this and say these are not 3 and 6. Now let's look at the sums in this cage. The total of this is 45, which means the sum of these three is 45 minus 13, which is 19. So these three add to 19. Now, if this is 2, then these add to 17, which is impossible, so that's not 2. If this is 7, then these two add to 12. Can we do 3 and 9? No. We can't do 6 and 6, so this can't be 7. This must be 9. That places the 9 over here. So this is 9, which means these two add to 10. This can't be 3 because there's no 7. So we must have 6 and then 4. So that places a 4 here. And 6 is forced here. And I wonder if we're done now. I wonder if the logic is going to keep going. Here we go. We've got the 3 down here, which gave us a 6 next to it. We've got a 6 up here and a 3 here. A 3 here. There's a 5, make it 5. Maybe a little bit more logic to do. The fact that we've set this 6 means we know this sum. So these add to 7, so there must be 2 here and 5 here. Gives us a 5 over here, a 2 placed there, and then there, and then there. Gives us a 9s. More, another 2. Got 7, 7, 7. Got 8, 8, 8. We've got 1, 1, 1. And is that everything? That's everything. Okay, check errors. No problems. All right. That was cool. I liked that puzzle. I thought the break-in was beautiful. I thought the coloring made up by this palindrome in this corner was fantastic. I loved the path that followed up through these guys, through the corners. I thought it was very nicely put together. And yeah, I learned after I solved this puzzle the first time that there is a special relationship between these 25 cells and these 16 cells. And I didn't use it, and I don't know how it's used. I could try to solve it again, but I've already solved it my way. So anyway, I really enjoyed that puzzle. Thank you, tenaliraman. I'll have to try more of your puzzles. Have a good one. Actually, I forgot to say that I didn't solve this on my own. I solved this with my friend Victor from work. So credit for much of this logic goes to him. So thanks, Victor. Victor and I do a lot of these puzzles together at work while we should be working. But this is the first time I've made a video about a puzzle that I'd solved with him. Anyway, thanks, Victor. Let's do more puzzles.
Next minute.